Ever get that feeling like your cat isn't really just like a pet, but more like a tiny dictator? Like they're secretly ruling your life.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going deep into something called the feline overlord hypothesis.
Oh, yeah, the feline overlord hypothesis, or FOH for short. And let me tell you, it's not just some funny thing on the internet.
Right?
This is a scientific theory, and it's gaining some serious traction. Basically, it says that cats, well, they might actually be in control of human civilization through, like,
Right.
masterful manipulation.
Okay, masterful manipulation. Now, that sounds a little dramatic. I mean, my cat, she's pretty lazy, spends most of her day just, like, napping and demanding I give her snacks.
See, that's exactly what's so brilliant about their strategy.
Really?
The research we're going to look at today, it examines 3 just fascinating areas of feline behavior.
Okay.
And trust me, you'll never look at a cat nap the same way again.
All right, well, I'm all ears. Let's hear about these studies.
Okay, so first up we have the behavioral manipulation trials.
Okay.
Researchers, they observed 50 cat-owning households. Gave the humans, like, simple instructions, like no treats before dinner, or keep the cat off the kitchen counter.
Sounds reasonable enough. So did the humans manage to, like, uphold the law?
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
A full 92% of participants,
92%.
they broke their own rules within 48 hours.
What? No way.
Thanks to their feline overlords.
So you're saying those little meows and those little head bunts, they're more powerful than we think.
They are far more persuasive than we realize.
92%. That's almost everyone.
Almost everyone.
What kind of rules were they breaking? Like spilling the catnip a little early?
Yeah.
Letting them sleep on the good pillows?
Yes, exactly. Unauthorized feeding.
Of course.
That was a big one. Also letting them into places they weren't supposed to be in,
Right.
And yeah, even giving up the best sleeping spots, it seems like. Humans are incredibly susceptible to a cat's demands, even when we really try to resist.
It's funny because I've always joked about being like wrapped around my cat's little paw.
Yeah.
But wow, to think that there is actual research that backs this up.
It's true.
It's hilarious and a little terrifying at the same time.
Well, and what's really fascinating is that these results, they weren't random or just like a one-time thing. The consistency across the entire study, well, it suggests that cats aren't just, lucky, they're strategic.
Wow.
And this kind of leads us to our second area of research, neurological influence mapping.
Oh, okay, so now we're talking brain science.
We are.
Are we about to uncover some sort of, like, feline mind control?
Well, let's just say that the findings are pretty compelling. Researchers monitored human brain activity while they were listening to cats purring.
Hold on, purring?
Yeah.
You mean that, like, adorable rumbling sound?
Mm-hmm.
How could that possibly influence our brains?
Well, that was the question the researchers set out to answer, right?
Yeah.
What they found was, well, there was a measurable increase in compliance, like following orders, and a decrease in resistance to commands.
No way.
In 82% of the participants who listened to purring.
Wait, are you saying that those purrs are like Jedi mind tricks?
It's not quite the Force, but it's not that far off either. The study suggests that cat purring actually triggers this response in our brains.
Right.
That's similar to what happens during, a hypnotic state.
Whoa, okay.
So think about it. Have you ever felt like inexplicably compelled to just like give your cat treats?
Oh, yeah.
While they're purring at you?
All the time.
Well, there you go.
Okay, now that you mention it, it's all starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I've definitely fallen victim to the power of the purr a few times, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But how does it tie into the whole, like, feline overlord thing?
Well, think of it this way. Cats purr when they want something, right?
Good.
So they've basically evolved a way to use their own biology to influence our behavior and to get what they want. And we often don't even realize it's happening.
Wow, that's amazing and also a little creepy.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered how they manipulate our behavior and like even tap into our brain waves. What's next? What's next on this journey to uncover the truth about these feline overlords?
Well, now it's time to climb to new heights, literally, with gravitational positioning analysis.
Okay.
So picture this, okay. Your cat's sitting on top of a bookshelf, just gazing down at you with that, like, knowing look. Is it just a coincidence?
Right.
Or is there, like, something more strategic going on?
Oh, I know that look.
Yeah.
My cat gives it to me every time I'm about to eat dinner.
Really?
She's like a little furry gargoyle, just watching every move I make.
Well, this study, it looked at cats' preference for being up high.
Okay.
And they found a 98% preference for elevated positions, just like rulers surveying their domain.
So are you saying my cat sees her perch as like her throne? And I'm just like a peasant delivering offerings of tuna?
Well, it's a very interesting question.
Okay.
And while the research doesn't, like, explicitly say that,
Right.
it does raise some really interesting points about why cats love being up high.
Yeah.
Is it for surveillance?
Yeah.
Is it a power move? Or are they, like some people would say, are they just enjoying the view?
I don't know. I'm not really buying the just enjoying the view theory anymore. This is starting to feel like a conspiracy.
Right. I think it's safe to say that cats are just way more complex than we give them credit for. Their behavior, their purring, their preference for being up high, it all kind of paints a picture of this creature, this being that's finely tuned not to just surviving, but like thriving in a human world.
Okay, before we jump to any conclusions, let's get to the heart of the matter. The feline overlord hypothesis.
Yes.
Do we have actual evidence that they are running the show, or is this just like a fun, theory?
Well, let's look at what we've learned so far. We've seen that cats manipulate our behavior. Their purrs literally affect our brains.
Right.
And they prefer positions of power.
Don't forget about that 92% statistic.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of humans bowing down to their feline masters.
Exactly. The research even compares them to
What?
Historical imperial tactics. Think about it. Humans willingly give cats food, shelter, entertainment.
Yeah.
What do we get in return?
Right.
A little purr, a moment of cuteness.
Yeah.
It makes you ask, who's really in control here? It really does make you think, like this whole paradigm shift, this idea that cats might be the ones in charge.
Yeah, it's funny because this whole like feline dominance thing, it's not a new idea. I was reading about how ancient Egyptians, they used to worship cats as gods.
Oh, you're totally right. It's not new at all. Like the feline overlord hypothesis, its roots go way back. You can find it in mythology and folklore all over the world. Really, the ancient Egyptians, they revered cats, right? They connected them with all these powerful deities like Bastet, the goddess of protection, fertility, even warfare.
A warrior goddess, huh? That definitely fits with the whole overlord image we've been talking about. So they weren't just obsessed with, cute, fluffy animals.
Not even close. And it wasn't just in Egypt either. In Norse mythology, you have Freya, right?
Okay.
This goddess known for, well, her beauty and magic. Guess what pulled her chariot?
Don't tell me cats.
Cats.
Wow. Okay, so that's 2 for 2. Cats and powerful deities. It seems to be like a theme across cultures. Do we know for sure if these ancient civilizations, did they really see cats as like more than just animals? Or is it all just stories?
Well, if you look at the archaeological evidence, right, we find all these depictions of cats in ancient art and artifacts, and they're often in like places of honor,
Really?
They were buried with their owners, covered in jewels. They were even mummified.
Wow, that's incredible. They really were treated like royalty, not just pets. So I guess it's safe to say that this idea that cats are, more than meets the eye, it's been around for a long time.
It really has. And what's so fascinating is that modern science is now like catching up with these old ideas, like the feline overlord hypothesis we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's being studied in a really serious way. And the results are, well, let's just say they're making a lot of people in the science world raise their eyebrows a bit.
I can imagine. Okay, so we have like mythology, archaeology, and modern science all pointing towards this possibility of cats, being in charge. And it's almost like those ancient civilizations, they were onto something all along. Where do we go from here, though? What's the next step in understanding this whole feline overlord hypothesis?
Well, the paper that we've been talking about actually suggests some really interesting areas for future study. One thing they suggest is looking at whether cats show any preference for, like, astronomical events.
Hold on. Astronomical events.
You mean like full moons and eclipses, that kind of thing?
Exactly. Planetary alignments, all of that. It makes you wonder, right? Are cats secretly aligning themselves with the cosmos?
Okay, now things are getting really interesting. This is like something straight out of the X-Files. What else? What else is coming up in feline research?
Another area researchers are looking at is mapping out where all the densest cat populations are.
You mean like cat hotspots?
Exactly. Places just overrun with cats.
Okay.
The theory is, well, if cats are, and this is what some FOH supporters say, if they're like remnants of some advanced alien civilization, maybe there are specific spots on Earth where, where they're more concentrated.
So we're talking like landing sites for cat spaceships, secret cat cities hidden right under our noses.
That's certainly one way to look at it, but it's also possible that some environments are just, more suited to cats being dominant, right? Maybe because of the climate, the geography, or even just,
a higher concentration of humans who just can't resist, spoiling their cats.
Okay, so we're looking for areas with lots of cats, maybe some weird energy readings, and people who can't help but buy those feathery cat toys.
Precisely.
Got it. Any other research avenues that might help us understand this whole intriguing hypothesis?
Well, one really interesting line of inquiry is this. Do cats, do they mess with our communication on purpose? Especially in this, digital age. Think about it. How many times has your cat, walked across your keyboard,
Oh my God.
sat on your laptop,
all the time,
or batted at your phone
oh,
while you were trying to do something important?
oh my gosh, my cat is like, she has a sixth sense for when I'm about to send an important email or finish a task. She appears out of nowhere, starts demanding attention, usually by just strategically flopping right across my keyboard.
Exactly. And the question is, are they just being playful? Are they just curious? Or is there something more, calculated going on? Are they trying to, stop us from getting things done?
Right.
To keep us from focusing on things that might, threaten their subtle control.
Whoa, that's, it's a little unsettling, but also kind of brilliant. It's like they're rebelling against our digital world. So what's the verdict? Are our cats... Are they really masterminds? Are they messing with our communication networks?
Well, that's exactly what future research is hoping to find out. It's definitely something worth thinking about, and studying these, cat interruptions.
Right.
Well, it might just reveal a whole other layer of how they influence us.
This is all so fascinating. I'm really starting to see my cat differently now. Those random cuddle sessions and her demands for treats, they all seem a lot more...
Strategic.
Yeah, strategic.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole deep dive, I've been trying to wrap my head around this feline overlord hypothesis, and my own cat.
Right.
I mean, she's such a sweetheart. Loves a good chin scratch. She purrs like a motorboat.
Yeah.
It's hard to think of her as this cunning mastermind, pulling strings from the top of her cat tree.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's understandable to feel that way. This research, it doesn't say that cats are evil,
Right.
Or that they're out to get us or anything like that. It's more about highlighting just how intelligent they are and how well they've adapted.
Right. So you're saying their manipulation, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Think of it as a really well-developed survival strategy.
Okay.
Over, I don't know, thousands of years. Cats have come up with ways to, to let us know what they need and to just make sure that they're okay in a world that's really dominated by humans. It's pretty remarkable.
That's a good point. They've figured out how to not just, survive, but to actually thrive alongside humans.
Yeah.
By subtly influencing our behavior. It's like they've hacked the human system, but in a way that we both benefit from.
Exactly. And let's not forget that we get a lot out of this relationship too. Cats, they give us company. They help us de-stress. They bring us joy. There's a reason why they're one of the, most popular pets on the planet.
Yeah, that's true. I can't imagine my life without my cat's fluffy cuddles and her silly antics. But now that I know what I know,
I gotta wonder,
are those cuddles just another tactic to keep me under her spell?
Well, it's definitely possible, isn't it? Or maybe it's, maybe it is a genuine display of affection, a mutually beneficial exchange of love and comfort.
Yeah.
The truth is, we might never really understand, the cat mind.
I suppose that's part of what makes them so charming, right? They're familiar and mysterious at the same time. Cuddly but cunning. It's a pretty interesting mix.
It is, and I think this research, it really encourages us to think about our cats, well, a little differently, with a sense of wonder and respect, recognizing that they're complex, intelligent beings.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into, the feline overlord hypothesis, what's the takeaway for our listeners? Should we all be sleeping with one eye open,
Uh-huh.
wary of our feline overlords?
Probably not, no. I think the most important thing to remember is that cats are just incredibly complex creatures, and
Right.
they have a level of intelligence that we're only just beginning to understand.
And maybe we should appreciate that those, seemingly random meows and head bumps, those strategically placed hairballs.
Yeah,
Maybe they're actually, calculated acts of persuasion.
indeed. Next time you give in to your cat's demands, think about it.
Yeah.
You might be playing right into their little paws or their
Yeah.
plans.
This has been the deep dive, and we've certainly explored the world of feline behavior, a captivating world,
Hmm.
but also maybe a little bit unnerving.
Until next time, folks, keep those cat treats handy, and you might want to think about investing in some noise-canceling headphones. You never know
Right.
when those purrs could turn into, subliminal messages.
And if you see your cat on top of a bookshelf looking down at you
Yeah.
with that knowing look,
Hmm.
remember they might just be surveying their domain,
Yeah.
planning their next move
Right.
in their quest for world domination.
Well, I think we've given everyone listening a lot to think about. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe,
Yeah.
give your feline overlord an extra head scratch,
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side.